Okay, hi, we're here in Prospect Park in Brooklyn, New York. We're here with June.
Hello there.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
Oh, yeah. My name is Jun, and I'm very glad to be here at Russ' channel, Travel Banana. I've been following this channel for a while, and there are lots of very interesting traveling stories, contents. He talks about sceneries, traveling tips, and also lots of food, cuisines from different parts of the world. Yeah, please subscribe and like this video. Yeah, if you can.
Thank you for the promotion. So, traveling. Where have you traveled in your life?
Wow.
How many countries have you?
Well, that's a good question. I haven't counted yet, but I guess maybe like 25, maybe almost 30. Yeah.
Where did your interest in traveling come from? Like, when did you start getting interested in foreign cultures and traveling outside of your home country?
Okay. Well, actually, my enthusiasm for traveling started from traveling domestically, actually, in China at first. Yeah. In the year 2008, I had a backpacking trip to Tibet. Yeah, that was, Tibet is, is the highest, one of the highest place in the world, and also has its really, really unique culture, its own language, its own religion. And, for me, in China, like most of the people I see on a daily basis are mostly like people like me, like the majority ethnicity is the Han people. Although China has lots of ethnic minorities, but they usually live like in the southeast, southwest regions. So my trip to Tibet gives me a brand new perception of very different culture, very different people. So I started to develop those kind of the curiosity about a wider world. Yeah, I think that was probably the starting point. And also, when I studied in Hong Kong 1 year after that, that was the year 2009. I also traveled, went to a lot of places in Hong Kong. And in the year 2010, I went to Taiwan. Also a very unique and special place. All backpacking trips in Taiwan. I just went around the island. It's a unique place, a place with Chinese cultural tradition, but also with, its strong roots in indigenous culture. The indigenous people have been living there for like 8,000 years. So yeah, I mean those are my very initial travel experiences. My first trip abroad was in 2013, a trip to the UK, to United Kingdom. I basically worked as a translator for a educational delegation to the United States. It was quite fun. I mean, although the trip was with giant pressure because I had to work. I need to make a lot of preparations before every interpreting assignments. But I learned a lot. Spent almost 1 month in Cambridge University. I mean, the summertime, the best season in the UK. Yeah, and also I had a glimpse into an English-speaking world with abundant history. So yeah, that's also starting from there. I started to to travel to many other places extensively. Yeah.
Wow, cool. So, yeah, so do you feel like your life is a lot different, that you have chosen that path of traveling the world instead of staying in one place?
Well, yeah, that's a great question. Traveling indeed gives me, I call it compound eyes. You know, compound eyes. You know, like flies, like especially fruit flies.
Hmm.
Flies, it's not easy to catch if you want to use bare hands because they have compound eyes, which means they can see this world in a like a full three-dimensional way. So it has like countless tiny, mini visual receptors within one eye. So it's called compound eyes. Yeah, so let you to see this world. I mean, to see things, you know, simultaneously, but with different angles. Yeah, that's also what traveling brought me, I believe. It can always give me a new pair of glasses or a new pair of binoculars to see same thing differently. Yeah, that's
Yeah, that's
you know,
an interesting comparison. I never
Yeah.
heard of that before.
yeah, that's a metaphor that I like to use often when talking about traveling because you're equipped
Yeah.
with different equipment or different things
Yeah.
to see this world.
Yeah, that's true. It's like a new perspective.
Right.
And yeah, especially if you're like living in the place and not just doing touristy things.
That's true.
You're like
Yeah.
really getting immersed in the culture by working or finding some community in there.
Yeah.
Wow. So, were there challenges on your traveling journeys? Was there anything difficult?
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, challenges, of course. I mean, whenever you go to a brand new place, there are always cultural shock is just one aspect. Cultural shock is actually something quite like deeper. Actually, in the surface, there are also lots of difficulties. I remember the first time I was in the United States. I was in Florida. I was in a small town called Sarasota. It's in the west bank of Florida, a small town near Tampa. And one day I had a 3-day trip, I think, to Atlanta. And it was very funny because I took the Greyhound bus, the overnight Greyhound bus there, and arrived in the city very early in the morning. So I wanted to grab a coffee and sandwich just in a sandwich store, in a basic sandwich store, and I ordered a coffee, and I ordered sandwich at first, and then at the drink part, I just want a coffee, and suddenly that waitress just asked me, coffee instead of soda. Coffee instead of soda, yeah, with a strong southern accent. I was not familiar with that at all. Even today, I couldn't imitate that well. I mean, it's just like something like coffee instead of soda. Well, later I learned that it's coffee instead of soda. But people. I mean, I usually call it Coke or instead of soda. But what the waitress said, sounds to me like coffee in Sarasota, because I was from the city of Sarasota. I was like, what? Why do you know I'm from Sarasota? I didn't write it on my forehead. I didn't tell anybody that. Why do you have that intelligence? And I asked him, what? I'm sorry, what? And she repeats that, coffee instead of soda. Okay, that's not Sarasota. And then I also explained to her why I didn't understand, because I was based in Sarasota, and also she laughed out loud and thought it's very interesting. So yeah, of course, I mean, even the English language has lots of regional accent. It took me a while to get used to, especially lots of slangs and idioms, which are really difficult because what I learned are like textbook,
Yeah.
very
Yeah,
formal.
very different from
Yeah,
textbook
yeah.
English.
So that's probably one of the, difficult thing. And also when I traveled in Latin America, language is also a really really big challenge to me. Especially during my first trip to Mexico, I didn't speak any Spanish at all. So that was also quite unusual experience. But I've been learning through those experiences.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's cool. So, yeah, do you plan to continue living a sort of life of traveling and never settling down in one location? Or do you think you'll eventually find a spot to
Yeah, that's
stay long term?
okay. Yeah, that question gets a little philosophical. I mean, yeah, well,
Yeah, because now you're in New York
yeah,
City, which is
yeah,
quite
that's
far
true.
from your
Yeah,
hometown.
yeah. I should think about that. Well, stay in one place or just keep on this kind of traveling, or there's a word called wanderlust, right?
Oh, yeah, wanderlust.
The,
Yeah.
talking about a person who never want to stop traveling, right? It's a strong desire for traveling. Well, because I was born in a very small town in China, in an agricultural province. There was nothing special to see in that small place. So since I was very young, I had, those kind of like inborn curiosity about the world outside. While still, I've been to only a small number of the world. Small number of the countries in the world. I believe I will keep on traveling, but I think it's also good to have a like a base, like a base
Yeah,
camp.
that's true. A
you
base
know,
camp.
yeah, somewhere
to
that you
retreat
call.
to
Yeah,
for a bit.
yeah. Somewhere that you can, when you get tired in traveling, you can just go back, enjoy doing nothing. Well, especially like you have, a place that's easily accessible in terms of transportation. Well, like New York,
Yes.
it's ideal choice
Yeah.
for that. Criteria, right? That'd be great. Yeah. So with that, base camp, you can always come back for like recharging. Yeah, so that it can have a sustainable world traveling, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I think at this point. But maybe I will change my mind later. But so far, yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be nice to have like some little base
Yeah,
to come back to.
right,
Just
right.
to know you have something to
Yeah, right.
depend on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can call it the mundane attachment. We are still, in the mundane world.
Mundane attachments. The simple attachments.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I was looking at like tiny houses.
Mm-hmm.
Thought that would be kind of cool to have as like a base.
Yeah.
Like a very small house.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like-
or even apartment is fine. Here in New York.
Yeah, even an apartment, but those are expensive in New
Oh,
York
also.
City.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah,
That's
but
true.
That's true. Just
Yeah.
The location is
Oh,
very convenient
yeah,
for
yeah.
traveling.
Right.
So yeah, all the
Right.
tickets are usually cheaper from New York,
Yeah, from big cities. Yeah.
big cities.
Yeah, but yeah, New York. Yeah, that's true. Upstate New York is also great. It's cheaper, also quite accessible. To New York City. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. It's only an hour or two,
Yeah.
not too far.
Yeah.
Yeah, what else? What advice would you give to people who've never traveled before in their life?
Who
and
never
are kind of interested in
Who never traveled abroad?
never traveled abroad. Or,
Okay.
yeah, we'll say never traveled abroad.
Yeah. Well, to have some preparation in terms of the language. It's very useful. even if it's just a very simple greeting phrases, that can also that can bring people closer. I mean, well, even of course it's not enough, but you will have more fun and opportunities of getting to know better about local people if you really can see like 5 to 10 greeting phrases in the local language. Yeah, that's the first thing that I can think of now. And second suggestion, well, it's also like kind of philosophical, but it's kind of important. When we grew up and live in one place for a very long time, we tend to assume a lot of things from our own perspective, from our own experiences. But our own experiences are limited. Our own perspective are also, narrow, not that wide. I mean, it's also based on local experiences. But when we go out to a brand new place, well, people have their own like value system that might be totally different from our own. So it's better to have to be open-minded, to learn more, to feel more, to experience more, and to assume less. So that we'll have like a holistic experience of that new place.
Yeah.
And well, the third thing I can think of is that if you have like some socializing or social skills, well, such as like social dance, or like you like a club that's available internationally, like international Toastmasters, right? They have clubs around the world, or you know how to dance salsa, how to dance swing dance, Lindy Hop. You can always find a club, local club in most of the big cities in the world. Yeah, like 3 years ago when I was here in the New York City in June, the first thing I went to is a local swing dance party in Brooklyn. It was in a small church, and there was live band playing swing jazz music, and people were dancing. That was amazing. And also, I was not there just for dancing, and just during the intervals and during the break, I also have some chit chat with the fellow dancers, asking them for some local suggestions. They will give you tips, suggestions that are usually not available from like Lonely Planet or other website. It's also a good way to. Also, there are also meetup websites, events website like on Facebook or on the app called Meetup or many other events app. You can find local events. So even if you were there one day, you can try to search if there was something that's perfectly matching your interest. Well, you can just go there. Yeah, it's an amazing opportunity, right? To meet local people, to be local, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you can make really good connection because this kind of endeavor.
Yeah. Making connections can be a challenge when traveling solo, but finding that, having that community around the world,
right?
Yeah, through whatever it is you're passionate about.
That's pretty much I can think of now. Some suggestions about traveling abroad. Or traveling to brand new places.
Yeah. And then, maybe one last question is: there's always this sort of misconception that traveling is very expensive, and you have to be very wealthy in order to travel the world. What would you say to that?
Well,
common thing that people tend to use, like an excuse to
not travel.
The expense. Expense of it.
Well, actually, that's a good excuse. Saying that traveling is very expensive. but I think a another reason is probably because of people are a little bit lazy to get out of the comfort zone. It takes it takes some energy, especially in terms of planning, research. It takes some of your energy to step out of your comfort zone even a little bit. So as for the whether it's cheap or not to travel, I think it's a matter of personal choice. You can travel expensively, luxuriously, extravagantly. You can also travel, with very low budget, or even in a sustainable way. There are all kinds of ways of traveling. Like there are so many ways of living, so many ways of lifestyles. There are also so many different ways of traveling or traveling styles. So there are a lot of people who, using volunteerism as a kind of support, like financial support to fund the traveling process, right? Like a lot of people, like for example, they volunteer in a farm, in a eco friendly farm, sustainable farm, or in a local hostel, hotel, or any other like working holidays. Yeah, like in many Western countries, they give visa to young people below 30, so that they can like work and travel for half a year or even 1 year, right? So that for yourself, you don't need to spend a lot of money. You can even make some money, although not much, but sufficient to fund this travel process.
Yeah.
And also, if you're good at doing research, you can also find lots of like cheaper options. If you're okay with like a little lower standard, but it's fine. I mean, right? If you want to like this old saying goes, something like with the certain amount of the financial resources that I can use, if you plan wisely, you can just go much further away with the same amount of money.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
Yeah,
Planning, budgeting.
Yeah, planning, budgeting. So I don't think traveling is an expensive thing, but I believe traveling is something that requires a lot of planning, budgeting, some wisdom, a lot of research that will save you a lot of money.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
Yeah, you have to be prepared.
Yeah, one example. While traveling in Peru, I found a really interesting way of saving money. There is a kind of passenger bus service. If you buy the ticket, you can hop on and hop off at any major cities that you want. And also you can choose your own time within certain time frame. Like if you purchase a ticket for like a 2 weeks time frame. So during the 2 weeks, you can hop on the bus and hop off the bus at any cities between the two terminals. So usually those buses operates at night, and it has like quite comfortable like a chair, it's not 180 degree flat, but it's like it's close, like a 120 or 50, but you can have like a very sufficient rest and sleep on the bus, and also quite good cushion system. So if you are if you're okay with that, if you're okay with sleeping on the bus, usually very stable, it can save you a lot of money in terms of accommodation, right? So in theory, for the whole 2 weeks, you don't have to spend any money on the hotels, right? But even if you want to spend several days off the bus has also collaborates with lots of local hostels. Usually hostels are their pick-up points. So you can even get a better price at local hostels, right? And also they just drop you directly to that hostel. So you just spend like you want to explore Cusco for 5 days, you can just okay, I want to hop off at this city, this hostel, and I want to live here for 5 nights, and then okay, on the 6th night they will come to pick you up to the next station. Yeah, it's just an example, but you need to, to be creative, to do a lot of research to find those opportunities. And also that's also depend on whether you're okay with this kind of, relatively lower standards, right? Or you are okay with like
I think
sleeping.
It stopped recording.
Oh. It's okay. We have audio. We can use that.
Yeah.
You can put some B-roll that makes like grass.
Yeah, that's true. Alright. Oh, okay, it's recording.
Yeah.
Alright, so do you have any final things you'd like to share?
Well, I'm just very glad to join Russ' channel, Russ' interview, and also I'm planning my travel YouTube channel, and my channel name is inspired by Russ. My channel is called Travel Tomato. The reason I use the name is that tomato might be a fruit to you, but tomato is a vegetable to me in my culture, and it's pronounced as tomato in the United States, but it's pronounced as tomato in the UK, it's pronounced as a tomate in South America. Yeah, only a tiny, tomato can give you different perspective about, cultural traditions, like different languages or different variations of languages. That's why I just come up with that name. I still don't have any video in the channel yet, but if you're interested, yeah, you can just search and find that.
Yeah, smash that like button and subscribe.
Right. Yeah, like and subscribe.
Alright, well, thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
Alright, we'll see you. Adios.